All right, as you can see there on the side on our screen, the Barbados Prime Minister, of course, on a walkabout, of course, in KZN. And earlier on, we saw her there being flanked by Graça Machel, the Premier of KZN as well, and also Dube, as well as the CEO of the Nelson Mandela Foundation. Let's listen in. I do believe she's addressing the crowd at this time.
Remember the great wars. We gather here to remember the life and the sacrifice of those cause in South Africa that could be truly crafted by God, craftsmen of the faith Islam. That we can stand here today, 110 years after the formation of the African National Congress, is really only because Dr. Dube and others had the vision to craft what they did to be able to allow for the movements and the sacrifices that came after. That this location is geographically proximate to another great man whose contribution to humanity stands and will stand forever is also very special. And I refer specifically, of course, to Mahatma Gandhi, whose presence and whose development we learned was literally within the vicinity of this particular spot. I can fully appreciate why Madiba believed that the culmination of the struggle for the vote would be best represented by his coming to this place to cast that vote as a recognition that that leg of the relay race had now been completed. We stand today now conscious, as I said yesterday, that our duty is to continue the struggle. And that struggle can only be continued by us appreciating that on which we stand. And that is why we come first and foremost to pay our respects, because it gives us the strength to go the extra mile. Thank the Dube family for coming out and for sharing this, and Madam Premier, as a member of the family as well, we say an even more special thank you for it, because we can appreciate the emotion that you must feel at this moment and the pride that you must feel, but equally the awesome responsibility that is now on your shoulder to ensure that you will be equal to the task for the next leg of the relay. I have every confidence that you will be. I want to thank our guide this morning, because you were able to make real that which we did not experience personally, but that which you were present for, as not only a witness to history, but a maker of history. We thank you for sharing that experience. And for representing the mayor, I know that sometimes these things are thrust on you at the last minute, and therefore I want to say to you that even if that were the case, it was as if you were intended to do it all along. So thank you for your wonderful and gracious comments. And let me, as we bring to an end the public aspect of this visit to the Nelson Mandela Foundation, thank Professor yourself and Cello. I had a sense that this was going to be a special weekend, but the truth is that it has gone way beyond my imagination. And I think I can speak on behalf of my delegation, on behalf of my foreign minister, who himself is a student of South Africa history at university when he was there. And therefore for him, this has been as emotional a weekend as it has been for me. And for the rest of my delegation, I have a press secretary who many of you may not know. Barbados had the Lord Nelson statue in our Trafalgar Square, which is now our National Heroes Square, which ironically is celebrated on the 28th of April, 28th of April, as opposed to the 27th, the day after you. But he led the movement of the persons to have the Nelson statue removed from the center of Bridgetown. And we have moved it, we have it in storage to place somewhere else, because we're not necessarily trying to obliterate history, but we do not believe that another person's history must be the foundation upon which we build our nation. And to that extent, therefore, we choose those things that we want to represent, and in that space will go a monument to commemorate the family, because the greatest tragedy, apart from the loss of lives of those who crossed the Middle Passage, was the deliberate destruction of the family, both the family from Africa and the family in the Americas. There was an attempt to ensure that nothing that could make us strong could remain. And we should learn from that today, because if that was what was intended to make us weak, then it is the unification of family that shall make us strong. And I speak about our own families, but I also speak about the family between Africa and its diaspora. So thank you for this moment. This weekend has been as much, as I've said, about introspection and reflection as it has been about sharing and reuniting with family. And I hope that this will be the start of many, many, many more interactions, because as we have said, and as Mama Gracia said before she left, the struggle continues. God bless us all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister. It is. Let us welcome Ohlange to speak on behalf of the Dube family, just to give us the closing remarks. Maybe take us through who's lying here and then. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chair. Ladies and gentlemen, because of time constraint, I won't sort of mention each and every one of you with your particular roles. But again, I would like to sincerely thank Prime Minister for those insightful words of encouragement and also of reconnecting to us. You know, we've always been disconnected. Your coming here is part of history in the making. We thank you together with the whole entire Barbados delegation for coming here, and also for what you actually did, particularly to the deliverance of your Nelson Mandela Memorial Lecture. Each and every corner of South Africa today.
All right, of course, that is the Barbados Prime Minister, Mia Mottley, visiting in KZN. Of course, she was a keynote speaker yesterday at the Nelson Mandela Memorial Lecture.